Welcome to There Is a Method to the Madness. My name is Rob Maxwell and I'm an exercise physiologist and personal trainer. I'm the owner of Maxwell's Fitness Programs and I've been in business for the last 28 years. It's been just about a week since I last made a podcast and I like to spit them out pretty regular, as you probably understand. We went up to New York to do a practice trail race. We're training for the a 50-mile ultra marathon called Rock the Ridge, but we're splitting it up among 4 people. We've done it before as a gym and a team, and we were going up this weekend to do a 5-mile trail race on the same terrain that is basically going to be part of the race. And it got canceled due to flooding, so we went up there, and as you guys probably understand, flights are horrendous right now and you can't get many, so we were up there for a few days. Got in a little bit of different change of sights and scenery, but it was disappointing. I'm going to talk a little bit today about that in the podcast, and basically the context of today's podcast is exercising when I travel. I always do it. I love it, and one of the beautiful things about going up there is it's very different from here in Florida. Up there you have the mountains, the trails, you have so much nature, so much scenery. The weather's cooler, but we get cooler weather here, albeit not nearly as cold as up there, but that's not really what's different. It's more the nature, the scenery, the trails, the mountains, the terrain is so different. It's so beautiful. There's just such a beautiful smell in the air all the time in the mountains. And I just love to get up there. We were looking forward to that. A lot of people go on vacation and their idea of a vacation is different, and a vacation is different to everybody, but one of the things I love to do is train and exercise in different places. And I had a client once, and they didn't understand how I was so, in their words, rigid to my training when I traveled, because naturally, I post on Instagram and Facebook and do all those things that we're supposed to do, and everybody does these days. And by the way, a lot of that is just simply being a responsible business person. As you can imagine, sometimes we as a business don't feel like posting, so we don't really do it to get pats on the back and congrats and all this, and that's probably pretty obvious when you see a lot of my posts. They're definitely not professionally done. Random pictures, no filters, and those kind of things. But I feel it's, as a business owner, you want to put out there what you're doing. And so sometimes it's a work, sometimes it's fun, but a lot of times it's work. But anyway, they followed me on social media, and one of their comments was, when you go on vacation, why don't you just relax? And to me, that's just such a foreign way to look at it. And I don't mean the relax part, because amen to that. I definitely believe in relaxation and R&R and changing your batteries. But I guess what they don't understand is I don't look at exercise like a chore. Not in the least bit. Don't get me wrong. There are parts of training that hurt. There are parts of training that's hard, and it's hard to get going sometimes. The other day on one of our runs, it was in the 30s and it was blustery, and it was rough to get going, and I'm so glad I did it. I loved it. It was a great training run, but of course it's hard to get moving sometimes. A lot of times we're looking forward to the after run or after train, which is basically having some coffee and eating breakfast. Of course, looking forward to that. But to feel good about it, you got to get there first. So I don't look at training as rigid. I just don't look at it that way. When I go up north, or if I go anywhere, or if I just go to a different part of the state for a couple days of either a business trip or a recreational trip, I work out. The hotel has to have a gym. I scope it out. There has to be places to run. I don't often bring my bike because that's a pain in the neck. But I'd like there to be an area to run. And if there's not an area to run, I want to make sure that there's a treadmill. And I always make sure there's weights either in the hotel or a gym nearby before I go. because I love it. I mean, I do this for the most part. I do it every day for the most part because of how it makes me feel. And I've said before that, like, I don't like to make major decisions or send out emails or respond to difficult people or even to non-difficult people, but in a business setting or whatever, before I've exercised, because my frame of mind is different. My mood is different. I could be cranky as hell first waking up and thinking about my day and just like, not really feel too good about anything. We all have mornings like that. And then go for a run or do a power walk on the treadmill or hit the weights at the gym or ride my bike and kind of push out some of the frustrations as I listen to some music or sometimes a podcast or sometimes nothing at all. And my whole mood is different afterwards. I mean, I'm in a good mood. I see things clearly. I'm able to chew on the things that maybe that's bugging me. I can start an exercise session. I'm just going to say run, although please understand I do a lot of things, but I'm just going to say run. I can start a run with stuff on my mind, conversations I have to have, grievances that I feel like have been done, situations I have to make at work or home, whatever. And really not have very clear answers on what's the next thing to do. And I'll go for a run, and then midway through, all of a sudden I'll start thinking a little differently. I get more optimistic. I get more positive. I start to smile a little bit. I get a little juiced up if I'm listening to music. And by the end of the run, I've kind of come up with a pretty good idea of what to do next. And it's a beautiful feeling. And so for those that think, I'm not alone on that. I mean, I talk to many people that love exercise, and they say the same thing. It's going on vacation, isn't it? To me, I just don't get it. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. Like when I have clients that say, I really just got to take a break from exercise when I go away, and I'm just not going to do anything. I mean, I get what they're saying. Like, it's not like I argue with them because it's to each his own. I mean, if I feel like it's somebody who really needs it because they're really struggling with weight or whatever, I'll really try to talk them into doing something. But like, I'm not going to tell people what to do. So I get it, but I don't get it. Like, I know where they're coming from, and I think they're being really, really honest. Like, they just don't like it. And to them, it's a chore. To them, it's something they have to do. So when they travel, they want a break from that. It's kind of like when we were all in school and we didn't like school. I don't think too many of us liked school. And summer vacation comes along and we're excited. We get a vacation from what we don't like. The last thing we want to do is go sit in a classroom and listen to our teacher if we don't have to. So I get it. It's like that. I guess I just don't get why some people look at it that way. Why do they dislike it so much? I can only imagine that they haven't been able to connect to the hormones, the positive endorphins, the dopamine, and all that go off in the brain once we start sweating and getting moving and get our heart rate up, which absolutely happens, I guess. Or maybe they're training for other reasons. They're training for somebody else. They're training because they think they should, They're shoulding all over themselves, as the saying goes. But, I'm just sharing my experience in this, my experience, my strength, and my hope in this podcast because I love exercise and I believe it's the fountain of youth. And I believe that it is so freaking good for us, our mind, body, and spirit. Like, what a great way to connect to any higher power that you might believe in, which I do. And it's just a great way to get out there. For me, talk to the universe, the mother universe, whatever you guys want to call it. I know what I call it, And it's just great. And to not do it on vacation, that would be like punishment. I mean, I have to go through days of not feeling good. Why? I mean, I get variety, and I get trying new things and maybe not being structured. That's fine. I don't think you have to be structured. I think what you have to do is get your heart rate up. I think you have to sweat, and I think you have to move. that doesn't necessarily mean structure. If tennis is your gig and you go on vacation and you bring your tennis racket, and you just get out every day and play on a different court, I think that's wonderful. If you're a runner and you're going to try new trails, that's great. If you're a cyclist and you feel like bringing your bike, that's awesome. If you're none of those things and you just like a variety of things and you're going to walk a little, you're going to run a little, you're going to try new gyms, that's great too. So I agree it doesn't have to be structured, and I agree it can be different things all the time. But I just don't agree that it's better to not do it and to give yourself a break. I just don't agree with that. I believe that if you've been training for a big event, like a marathon or something really long, then absolutely you need to do a taper and a reverse taper, which means you cut your exercise back going into your big event, and then you kind of reverse that taper going back out of it. Sure, you've got to give your bones and joints and muscles time to heal, and a little mental grind too. But to do nothing, oh my God, that's torturous. So I just wanted to share that today. That's all I got. But all I got, that's huge. Like if you can just somehow get the bug, just get around people and get the bug and learn to love it, I believe your whole world, your whole outlook will change. So, just to recap a little, when we got into town, we did a little run on the trail, then we did some calisthenics right after that, and then the next day we got up and we did a longer run on part of the race course, and maybe we got in like 8 miles or something like that, and it was a lot of climbing, but we were able to get acclimated to the type of terrain, meaning the dirt trail, which is perfect, and the hills. The next day was even probably my favorite workout of the day, and what we did was we did a shorter version of that trail, but what we did was I led our group in a negative split run, which means we all stayed together on the way up, and it was like 2 miles on the way up, and then a couple people had to go pee, and that's okay, they went and did that, and then I told everybody to get as great of a negative split as they can on the way back down the mountain, which is kind of fun because you can just lean back and let it rip. And a negative split means that you come back faster than you went up, and everybody just goes their own pace. And I told the group to go at a RPE of 7 out of 10. So not all out, but pretty hard. So that was pretty fun. And I think we all cut 5 minutes off of our time. That was probably my favorite workout on the trip. And then we did I believe a 5-mile walk maybe on the trail later that day. Yeah, we're pretty active. And then the next day, we got a little bit rained out, which was a bummer. So we went into the gym. Oh, we did that twice. We went into the gym and we did a little treadmill work, and we did some weight work. And what was pretty cool is they have the exact same multi-cable machine that I have at my gym. So we did different exercises, strength exercises on that with the dumbbells. And, everybody enjoyed it, kind of did their own thing, and everybody was so glad they did it. But that was our workout. So we did a lot of running, we did a lot of walking, and we did some lifting. Did a little bit of treadmill just because we got rained out. Other than that, we would all rather be outdoors. So anyway, it was great. And I hope you get the bug. I really, really do. I think if you learn to exercise for the sake of exercise, all those other goals will be met too. So with that, I want to thank our sponsor, Jonathan and Lynn Gilden at the Gilden Group at Realty Pros. They currently have over 275 star reviews. That's pretty good, people. I mean, that's more than Maxwell's fitness program, so that's doing pretty well. They have over 100 million sold between the two of them, between Lynn and Jonathan, the beautiful couple that they are. And their goal is to provide the highest level of customer service, and the reviews back that up. There's never been a better time to sell your house. There's never been a better time to look for something you love. So please give them a shout. They really are the best. Jonathan and or Lynn at 386-451-2412. And until next time, please be Max Fit. Please be Maxwell.